Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 49th edition of UWE Lockdown. This is also the UWE Awards. Jack Thomas signing in here live with an all-star panel. First off, I have none other than Justin J. Joker Designs. It's good to have you here at the UWE Awards.
I'm alive. I'm finally alive after all this time, and you can actually see me this time, which is great.
Absolutely. It's good to have you here, but also that's not all, because we also have our guests, the all-star panel that is none other than...
And it's always
That's right, guys. Joining me at this time, perhaps one of the most dangerous, if not the most dangerous, the most dominant, and the most controversial faction in all of backyard wrestling, Cameron Jackson, Drew Hood, and Big Time Mike, and they make the Follow That Crew. How you doing, guys?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the FTC Awards Show, or better known as the FTC Lockdown, where you see the brother man with the master plan, CJE, that's how you spell G-O-D, Wrestling's Reckoning, DHNHD, and you see the greatest sports entertainer to ever enter an arena, Big Time Mike and Jack. We're glad to have you here live on the FTC wrong show, the FTC Lockdown.
Well, you know, it's, I don't even know how to say, I don't even know how to reply that.
I'm finally on a round table. Yes.
So, first off, before we get on to the first award, I just want to say that it's good to have the FTC here. Now, this is more so aimed towards Big Time Mike and Drew Hood right now. The first question, what do you guys hope to see this next week at Ultimate Redemption when it is streamed live November 23rd? What are you guys looking forward to seeing as far as Ultimate Redemption is concerned?
Cameron winning. Next question.
Obviously, it's a very stupid question. We want to see the CJE. We want to see God. We want to see the Holy One. We want to see the Holy Grail, the best thing this business has to offer. Walk into Ultimate Redemption as the man and walk out as the man, because he is the man, and that's what that show is about. Watching Templar get his ass kicked.
Very true.
To see him get his ass kicked.
Simple as this. Black and White versus Nicholas Somas and Theodore, whatever his middle name is, Sakara. That's great. This little triple threat that's going on between Black and White, then other two. Don't even want to name them right now. Don't want to give them any sort of fame. One outcome that is acceptable, and that is happening. It is Cameron Jackson pulling out the victory. But not only that, when Cameron wins, Rick wins. It's a win-win situation for them both.
Now, this question now goes to Brother Cam. Cam, what are your thoughts as far as the categories that go tonight, the awards, and what is your opinion on certain categories such as Match of the Year, Superstar of the Year, Moment of the Year, and dare I say it, Catchphrase of the Year?
To be quite honest, if you ask me, it's very simple. What you do in the voting process resonates on the screen, and I can only think of just one certain way to fall all of this into one just simple worldwide trend, the biggest trend that backyard wrestling has ever seen. And that, I don't know, it's like my fingers have been stuck like this all day long.
Well,
I just can't help but think that the heavens above has called me as God to come in and put down a blessing. And I told everybody listening that something big was going to happen, and may the church say amen. They all replied with a big, whopping, overwhelming
60.
Well, with that being said, guys, are you ready?
Yeah, give me 1 second, real quick.
Slapping those arms together for this one. let's
Yep,
get
one
into
second. Hold on, Jack.
Oh,
Hold on,
what-
hold on 1 second.
what's going on,
Welcome
Cam?
to PJE, that is Cameron Jackson Entertainment, your number one stop in entertainment for your backyard wrestling fix. I am, of course, your founder, your chairman, your CEO, and God, the brother man with the master plan, Brother Cam. Go ahead, Jack. I'm sorry.
All right. So with that being said,
And now, Jack, you are now enjoying the FTC show portion of this broadcast. Now you may continue.
as I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, let's start with the first award.
Hold on, wait, hold on. You son of a bitch.
Wait.
Mike! Kevin Shaw on the ballot! On the ballot! Welcome to the FTC Roundtable. The show begins now. Boom, bitch!
Well then, with that being said, let's take it to the first category. The first category of the awards is UWE Catchphrase of the Year. Now,
60.
we got some nominees here. Obviously, now, if the people aren't familiar with the voting process, there also is a section for other. So there's some superstars, some fans that might have selected other and chose their own nominations. So I'm going to begin with the other category. First off is Daisy's I'm Gonna Smoke Your Ass. And the others is, am I reading that right? Yeah, the other one is, oh God, Insanity, quote, quote, ah. Oh.
I know another man that said "ah" and made it famous, so we can scratch that off the list.
I'm not even, I don't know if I should ask this, but
I'm really not in the mood tonight for all these jokes. So
I kid you
really
not, I
rough.
could screen share it if you want. I mean, I just. All right. Now the actual nominees for Catchphrase of the Year. Minister Sherwood, we're back, bitches. Clunk, how about it? REF, Malibu. Cameron Jackson. I don't know if you guys want to do the honors.
60.
And last but not least, Everett Creed's You Think You're Better Than Me. So, with a total of 23 votes, and the winning nominee by 57% goes to none other than $16. Cameron Jackson, congratulations.
It's a clean sweep tonight for the FTC. This is going to be good.
Cameron Jackson,
Oh
you
my
have won
goodness.
UW Catchphrase of the Year. Cam, what are your thoughts if you want to give us an acceptance speech?
Very simple, very simple. I have to thank Drew Hood. I have to thank Big Time Mike. I have a need in my heart to thank that big fat bastard at the wedding at WrestleCon. We called him Palco. A need in my heart to thank people like Corey Graves for trying to bury me all my career. I have a need in my heart to thank people like Tyler Storm to give me a YouTube title and a freaking predictable storyline where he was going to win it right back. I also have a need in my heart to thank the number system. The number system gets me through because you see, when you get it all the way through, you start from 1 and you get to that lucky number. Sitting yourself, I've said to myself millions of times, man, I've been counting, and I came up across the lucky number, and that number 16. So to be quite honest, we can already see how these awards are going. I want everybody to load up the limo, get the beer, the alcohol, all that good stuff. Yeah, exactly. As Avery Hoke says, the beer and alcohol. And I'll see you guys, which Jack and Ace, unfortunately, you guys are not invited to the
After party at the Marriott.
60.
Well, all right. Well, I guess me and Jay Joker could stay in for the Motel
I
6.
made the logo.
I guess we're sitting out at the Motel 6. All right. Well,
Great.
you know, I mean, when it comes to catchphrases, and this is going to be a little bit more towards. Now, I'm going to ask Jay Joker first, and then I'm going to get to the people that have made catchphrases known worldwide. But Jay Joker, I want to ask you, what do you think is so important about a catchphrase?
What's so important for the catchphrase is how the audience grabs onto it, how they respond to it. Because you can say one thing, but it may not mean anything if you say it over and over again, but it's another when the audience grabs onto it.
Yeah, definitely. I could definitely agree with that. Now, when it comes to catchphrases, 16 won the UW Catchphrase of the Year. But if I may, I mean, and I'm not just saying this because they're in the Hangout. This has kind of been the real thing. But if there's a VTW Catchphrase of the Year, well, now that I mean, it's let's be real. It really looks like if there really is a true winner of that, it is North, South, East, West, BIA. So with that being said, Drew, what do you think is so important about a catchphrase, and how would you believe that North, South, East, West, BIA has really transitioned DH and HD to a whole new level?
Transcended to another. You know, I hate to make everything about myself here. Trust me when I say that you are now enjoying the DHHD show portion of this broadcast. Everything that I've done has transcended what I've done last. I even have a freaking compass tattooed on my forearm to signify that I'm going to give all these stupid son of bitches beatings north, south, east, west. Say it with me, boys. Pyah! Pyah! Every single time. People doubt me still? That's fine. What's behind a catchphrase? Well, first of all, you actually have to have a mind for the business and be over. I can't really help you out until you get past that step to step 2.
Absolutely. And Big Time Mike, I mean, where do I begin? You know, you're talking trash and breaking ankles all day, every day. You know, it's always, wait for it. Wait for it. Big time, baby. Wait. And my personal favorite, boom, biatch. What do you got to say about catchphrases? Because honestly, you might as well be considered Mr. Catchphrase for that matter.
Well, to be completely honest with you, Jack Thomas, a catchphrase needs attitude, and it needs to be big time. And if a catchphrase is none of those three, then of course you end up being like a Kevin Shaw. You end up being like a Dirty DeChico, like a Nick Thomas. If you have none of those three things in anything you do, especially a catchphrase, become the FTC's biatch. And it won't matter what day it is, what time, or what's on the line. Those who do these three things, such as the FTC, shall deliver. Wait for it. Wait for it. Big time, baby.
Now,
Biatch.
with that being said, the next award. This is the UWE Rising Star of the Year.
Cameron Jackson.
Now, Rising Star.
Cameron Jackson.
This is new and upcoming. Wouldn't Cameron Jackson fit more of the category of Superstar of the Year?
He wins everything. We already said it.
The amount of times you guys threw some dirt on my name, I might as well be Rising Star.
All right. Well, this is actually a very interesting topic because
Hold on, time out. Am I even in this category?
As a matter of fact, you were actually not one of the nominees, nor did the UWE fan base.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fine. You know what? I see what you're doing here, and I smell a setup. I don't
What do you mean setup? You weren't.
I don't like it at all. So you know what?
Setting us up. Shut up. All the time. You're setting us up.
Exactly.
This show is rigged. Ridiculous.
It's funny how we actually got one of the
Yes.
Hold on, you time out, Jack Thomas. So you know what? By the year 2017, I want to see Cameron Jackson in that rising star category, because the rising star is a star that rises the highest, and there's no star that rises higher than God spelled CJE. So next year, that better be fixed.
All right. Well, I'll talk to management about that. Now, with that being said, with the rising star of the year, now this really kind of transitions with what's transpiring at Ultimate Redemption. We will see, as of right now, it is the Black Bullet, Jason Atlas, Ustalo, and Revan.
Wait, the Black Bullet? Hold on, time out. Didn't the Black Bullet and I start on the same day?
The Black Bullet, however. Time. No. Whoa.
And to be quite honest, like, you got people in this category. You got Jason Atlas, Revan, Uslo, Black Bullet. The Black Bullet, first off, has my vote. Second off, Revan is a $2 pimp I wouldn't even trust to wash my car. Uslo would win the category if you go and actually shop for some attire. Okay. And Jason Atlas, I mean, how can you be a rising star if you're never here to rise in general?
Got him.
Now, more so, and then more so that those were the participants in the ladder match to take place at Ultimate Redemption, which was for the UWE Regional Championship. Now, the reason I say that is in past term, that it was for the UWE Regional Championship, is because of the fact that at Ultimate Redemption, the UWE Regional title will actually be retired. So this is breaking news here at the UWE Awards, and management has just presented me with what is now going to take place as the invitational for the UWE Underground Championship. Now,
that's my overrated championship.
Now,
My overrated title. What are you doing with my overrated title?
Drew,
Let me tell you something real quick. Hold on. Time out. Hold on. Give me 1 second. You're gonna go ahead and say that is the overrated championship of the world. You know what? I should have that this invitational, I'm showing up. Maybe my train will run late, but I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna win my title. That's mine, my belt. And not only that, let me tell you something else. I'm not overrated. Okay?
now,
wait, no, Jack, time out. Did you see you pissed off Drew Hood? Now Drew is hurt. He's sad. Now you need to console this right now.
I'm trying to. Now, Drew, the reason why...
No, because it's not even, it's bad enough that you stole his title. It's even worse that you stuck it in the dryer and shrunk it.
It was dry,
Clean, right here.
and wash only.
Now,
Can I? I'll apologize.
so,
I'm sorry, Drew.
Thank you, Justin, for apologizing. That's why you're a good man.
now
Damn. And
the
I
reason why...
I just quit smoking.
You
and
dare
posted
mock
stuff like
wrestling's reckoning. How dare you?
It's well, the reason why the booking team decided to go with a championship to this design was because of the fact of the frequent appearances and the dedicated appearances of Drew Hood, and they decided to model this championship over the overrated title in honor of DH and HD. So
I mean, Jack Thomas, you've always been a bullshit artist, okay?
I haven't been I can't say that word.
But
You know,
no, time out.
But I
Time
can.
out. You've always bullshit artist, but that was the worst, the absolute worst cover-up lie you can think of on the spot.
Don't shoot the messenger.
You're a sports entertainment storyteller. You're a narrator of action, and you're gonna sit there and come up with something. Your job is to tell lies on commentary every day.
You know what? You know what? Hashtag not my championship.
Now,
Thing is a disgrace.
let's. With that being said, let's go to UWE. Oh boy, Rising Star of the Year. Now, this is going to be quite interesting here. There was no votes for others. So, with that being said, the nominees for UWE Rising Star of the Year: Revan,
Oh God.
Ustalo,
Oh boom.
Jason Atlas,
Oh nigger dick.
the Black Bullet.
You can't say that.
And Fat Jack.
Wait, timeout.
And
What?
Now,
Uh,
do I have any feedback on this?
Wait, timeout. First off, wait, Mike, in reply to that, I did get in touch with Rolf. You and him need to have a sit-down discussion in one of the upcoming CJ exclusives.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
But anyway, back to this. Why is Fat Jack even in the category?
I guess because Fat Jack had in 2016 really had a breakout moment with Retro Invasion as well as Hell's Vacancy with returning, and I do apologize for saying this.
All right, so you're gonna wait, time out. So what is with UWE giving people that leave and don't show up opportunities? So you give Nick Thomas the title shot, and now you give Fat Jack an opportunity to win an award?
I'm just a broadcast commentator, like you said. I'm a broadcast journalist.
I think if I would leave to BEW, I would have gotten buried. Oh boy, that's great.
So
That right here.
all right. So in all legitimacy, what do you guys think about, who really do you believe should be out of the nominations? If there's one person that should be the UW Rising Star of the Year, who do you think is worthy of this award?
To be quite honest, if I have to speak honestly on the measure here, I got to give it to my homeboy Ustalo.
Ustalo. Okay.
Somebody that I've seen since his first day come in here, bust his ass, and be the only person of this quote-unquote new breed, which is a term I don't think should exist because it classifies them as lower than the rest of the roster. But we'll get to that at a different time and date. He's the only person that's been there every week, so consistent, taking the worst beatings possible, taking the worst booking possible, and has been, entirely pissed off about it. And I've been that person to tell him, hey, to get better, to get better, to get better. And then one day I said, I'm gonna stop bullshitting this guy. I'm gonna tell him it's not gonna get better until you step up. And in that one lockdown, that one interview, he grabbed that interviewer. And ever since then, he's been consistent until you guys wrote him to get out of the Rumble in fucking 5 seconds. But it is what it is. I can feel Ustalo's pain there. From experience. So at the same time, the Black Bullet guy, but Ustalo is the Rising Star of the Year.
Are there any contradictions to Cameron Jackson's statement?
No contradictions.
Absolutely not. Flo's got the attitude. He's got what it takes.
No contradictions, only that there should be a weight limit to this Rising Star of the Year category, meaning Fat Jack 6,576,942 pounds should make him disqualified. Thank you.
well, to be fair, I think Jack took Cameron's spot because we had to fit 2 ones into 1.
Yeah, he ate it. That's what he did.
I'm sorry, but
All right. Well, with that being said, with a total of 25 votes, the winner of UWE Rising Star of the Year with 40% of the votes goes to Ustalo. Ustalo is the UWE Rising Star of the Year. Big Time Mike will be back in just a few moments. I'm going to go to Mr. DH and HD for this one. Do you think this is well-deserved? If so, why?
Yes, because I was in Uslo's spot at one point where, when I came in at first, nobody seemed to like me. Nobody seemed to really give me much of a chance, and I worked for it. I worked harder and harder and harder than the rest to finally break out and make my name known. Hence the reason why those other companies that I was involved in at the start are irrelevant now, because I worked harder than them. Uslo might transcend UWE one day if he keeps this up, so congrats, kid. Keep working hard. I could still kick your ass, but that's for another time.
Justin, now I got to ask you, as with Ustalo as the UW Rising Star of the Year, do you think that this will be a little bit of confidence going into Ultimate Redemption or even into 2017, making a statement and really putting himself on the rise and maybe even possibly winning Superstar of the Year in 2017?
I think what it should do is it shouldn't give him confidence, but it should give him the drive and focus to go into Redemption, to show why he deserves this award, and then show those whoever seek to be in that invitational that why he is the Rising Star of the Year, and then go into 2017 and show you didn't deserve to overlook me because look what happened now. I'm in this spot because you chose to view me as, oh, I'm only a one-time thing. I'm a Raimundo Santos. But guess what? He's been here for almost 2 years now. And 2017 may be just the year of the flame.
Very well. That's a great way to put it. Now, next award is actually –
Whoa. This is 2 times
Skip
in
him.
a row now you skip over.
Well, my apologies. I was going to actually go to – now, Cam, you did mention that Ustalo should be the UWE Rising Star of the Year. Obviously, your opinion was shared with a majority of the UWE fan base. So now I'm going to ask 2 of the questions at the same time. Do you feel now that he has won this award that he truthfully deserves it? And do you think that this should give him momentum going into 2017 and Ultimate Redemption as well?
Do I think he deserves it? Hell to the yes. And the reason why I think he deserves it is because there are many of us that have been in that spot. And to be quite honest, it may seem like I've never been in that spot, but I was also, and many times, a new guy on somebody else's turf and had to go in and show my worth like that. I know Ustalo had to sit there and take no for an answer a hell of a lot. He took no for an answer. And then I told him, I pulled him aside one day, and this is not throwing any personal names out here. This is Cameron speaking to Mike, not CJE speaking to Ustalo. I told him if he busted his ass hard enough and he believed in what he was doing, and that's all that matters. When you go out there and you show a purpose and you have something talking, and we're getting this done right, then you know you can't go wrong. Even if people look at you and laugh at you, the reaction is something. There's been nights where I've seen everybody else in that category go out there on UWE program and the chat get completely mute, silent, nada, dead. Ustalo, every time there's at least 7 comments about Ustalo, whether he's doing something, whether he laughs, whether they're making fun of him, whether they're booing him, whether they're cheering him. There's always something about Ustalo. And we're in a business where it's reaction-based and moment-based. Ustalo's got the reaction. This year it's time to make some moments. Leading into the next question, 2017. Ultimate Redemption Day. Or this next Wednesday, a week from today. Thing is, does an award define you winning a title? No. Confidence? Yes. But does it depict the outcome of the match? No. The reason I say this gives him momentum is because it's that man on the shoulder, it's that angel and that devil. Can we do it? No, we can't. Can we do it? No, we can't. But at the same time, if he learns how to knock this one out and just stick with Ustalo, Ultimate Redemption will be lit on fire, and will be one hell of a year for the man Ustalo. And to be quite honest, I'm hoping he pulls through there, because for a man that's been held down, and yes, I'm going to say held down, he's paid his dues well over a year ago, and he's been held down for the better half of 6 months now. And I have to say, I know how that feels. And I cannot blame this man for being personally upset with the way it's going. For as much as he has bitched and moaned and got upset about it, he never once missed the show.
Not once. And I think
That
winning
man,
the UWE Rising Star of the Year is definitely a payoff for Ustalo's determination and devotion to the UWE.
and like I said, a long time ago, I could have been a guy to sit here and tell you I see no future with Ustalo and Mike Newman or UWE and Ustalo, but I can tell you now I don't see a future without Ustalo in the UWE. I don't. And to be quite honest, if he works his ass hard enough, he will win the Underground Championship, and will be maybe good enough next year to see me one for the UWE CJE World Heavyweight Championship 16.
With that being said, let's take it to the next category. UWE Tag Team of the Year. Now, this is not so much tag teams, more so it is alliances. Sometimes it's a stable. It's actually the UWE Team of the Year. So, we have seen certain stables and we've seen certain alliances take place in the underground ever since last year's Ultimate Redemption. And with that being said, let's take it to the nominees. There was no other. So the nominees for UWE Team of the Year: the Stark Supremacy, TOP, Black and White, and REF and UWE Senior Official Theodore Fallopian. Now
That was unnecessary.
Yeah, well, or was it? Because, I mean, I know we like to throw in that one every now and then. Cam, before I get to your own personal nomination, what are your thoughts about the confrontations in your matches between REF and UWE Senior Official?
Momentum shifting. They are the moments where time stands still. People don't realize that when CJE is out there, the whole show and everything around me becomes CJE-ified, if you will. REF is a great asset to the CJE, as is CJE a great asset to REF, and is Black and White a great asset to Backyard Wrestling. But at the same time, there is no more dominant duo in the UWE for the last year and counting than Cameron Jackson and REF. Rick Rios joined in, making it a trio. But let me tell you why. Because when Cameron Jackson makes a mistake, REF's there to cover it up. When REF makes a mistake, Cameron Jackson capitalizes. Well, people may not agree with our ways, but you cannot agree with how much business we have gotten done over the last year.
Justin, I'm going to ask you now, what do you think about the nominees for Tag Team of the Year?
Well, if you want my personal nomination for it, I feel like either way Rick Rios wins, whether it be Black or White or it be TOP. Because as I might not, necessarily agree with, the ways that both, Cameron Jackson and REF have, especially since last year's Redemption, when, Cam, no disrespect to you, when you held the title, you did have those wins that were very controversial, but it still kept you the title. With
But,
TOP and continue. I'm so sorry, man.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, continue.
Oh, well, thank you. See, those wins were very controversial. And in any sport, anything you do, the main goal is to win and keep your championship. That is the main prize. And you have to show that you will do anything to do that. That is the desire, the hunger, the attitude to make it. Literally. I'll tell you what, if CJE doesn't hold that title 4 times, it is not as prestigious whenever Creed holds it. If CJE doesn't do what he has to do to win that title, people don't get a breath of fresh air when somebody who's going to try to treat it a little better holds it. If CJE doesn't hold that title 4 times and on the 4th time make it the most despicable reign you've ever seen, then if by any chance a small window of luck Templar does win at Ultimate Redemption, it means nothing. So let's be real. How controversial is it? Big payoff for the good guy. If, which I doubt will happen at Ultimate Redemption, if Templar tries to rise for the first time as Templar, when we know damn well it should be the redneck that I brought into this goddamn company. But at the same time, what can I do? I'm just the most over guy in UWE.
Well, now I'll go to Mr. DH and HD. What are your thoughts on Team of the Year? The nominations: Black and White, TOP, REF, and UWE Senior Official, and the Comedy Duo, and last but not least, the Stark Supremacy.
Black and White better win. Now, let me tell you something. TOP is not a joke. I understand that. As DH and HD, I can proudly say that I can admit TOP was probably the best strictly based tag team BYW has seen in years. Reason being, because they worked cohesively together. Reason being, I'm fairly certain they were undefeated as a tag team. And you know what? During their entire tenure, they beat pretty much the entire UWE roster. Not only that, they beat guys like Cage and AK-47. They beat all these big names in backyard wrestling as a team. So TOP, hoods off to you. Congratulations. You made an impact. But, you know, Rick Rios did the smart thing. Rick Rios did the very smart thing and joined Black and White. That was the smart decision. And TJ made the dumb decision of trying to go out on his own when he's only relevant when he's with a teammate. Let's face it. Whenever he was with Cameron, that was the only time that anybody actually liked TJ Sakara. Whenever TJ and Rick were together, that was the only time anyone talked about TJ Sakara. So let's just face facts here. TJ's nothing. TJ's a garbage. He's a stupid son of a bitch, and he is worthless.
Exactly. TJ Sakara is an idiot ass. And the reason why I say he's an idiot ass is because he knows everything about idiot assology from the time he was a born kid and went to preschool, and his first class was idiot ass 101. And the problem why I keep calling him an idiot ass is because he defines everything about that word. Yeah, hey, Jack Thomas, since you're so smart, what's the definition of the term idiot?
The legal definition of the term idiot?
Yes, sir.
You really want to jog my brain here. Well, according to Webster's dictionary, the technical term for idiot is a stupid person.
Okay. Now, if you take that and you multiply it by TJ's height, which is?
TJ's height is 6'2".
6'2". Okay, now you take those two and you multiply them by 2 S's. Okay, so now you have 2 S's. There you go. You have 2 S's. And now the 6 foot, you take away the 6 FT and put an A there. You take the term stupid, translate it to idiot, and you put 6'2". There you go. Now you have the complete definition of an idiot ass. TJ Sakara will never get it done. The only time TJ Sakara is relevant is when somebody else in there is more relevant than he is. That is the only time he is relevant. The only time he's ever been relevant is one with the CJE or involved with the CJE or Rick Rios. And let me tell you one more thing about TJ Sakara. The only reason why TJ Sakara versus Zach Daniels at WrestleCon got a pop was because CJE, DH and HD, and Big Time Mike were on the same damn card. 16.
All right. With that being said, the winner of UWE Team of the Year. This is a total of 24 votes. The winning category, the winning nomination, if you will, has 42%. UWE Team of the Year goes to TOP.
Okay.
Good job, Rick. And only Rick. Way to go, Rick.
You know, Rick Rios had to undergo severe back surgery after TOP ended because he carried 6'2" pounds. This I said 6'2" pounds exactly.
6'2" pounds.
Okay, listen. Rolling Rock. It'll make you think.
The
Okay.
new shirt
Oh, you mean the Roll Tide Rock?
Yes, he carried TJ Sakara for how many months? And you know, the funny thing is, they were a staple in backyard wrestling. They handed Jason Walker his first crossover losing situation. Yes, they did. I don't care if anybody says anything about it. They did. And TJ Sakara, that is in your legacy. You need to take your hat off and sit back and look yourself in the mirror, because anytime you realize you can do something larger than life, and this is my problem with you, TJ. My problem with you, TJ, is because for as good as you can be, you only choose to be better when you have somebody on your side. But when somebody willingly tries to join your side, you push them away. Why the fuck do you do that? Revan tried to come help you. He had a chance to help you and save you, and you pushed him away. But you know what? The funny thing is, that was probably a smart move, because Revan can't get over on his own either. So the only thing I can think about now, is now you have an ally in Nick Somas, but you also have an opponent in Nick Somas. I'll tell you what, if you try to team up with Nick Somas, I'll break your fucking neck.
Now, this is really interesting, because I looked up some records, some statistics here for 2015. Every singles match that TJ Sakara has had on a UWE Live Spectacular was ended in a defeat. However, every tag team match that he has had on a 2015 Backyard Wrestling Live Spectacular, he has actually been victorious. Going back to Ultimate Redemption of last year, losing to Cameron Jackson, Broken Glory losing to Everett Creed, and then, however, Hell's Vacancy and Friday Night Lights teaming up with TOP, being victorious against Everett Creed and Adnan, as well as Nick Somas and Fat Jack. And then Abomination rolls around and he loses to Templar, and then at All Out Survival, being defeated by Rick Rios. So the question now is, will Ultimate Redemption follow that statistic?
Let me tell you about TJ Sakara. TJ Sakara is not one to take lightly, and I can know this from experience. Underplay. But the problem is, his opponent doesn't do any of that. His opponent takes him as serious as he takes an earthquake going on in the world. His opponent takes him as serious as a heart attack. It's himself, which is why he does not have a chance at Ultimate Redemption. Sadly to say, and this is the only time I'll ever say this, Nick Somas has more of a chance than TJ Sakara. But that's not going to happen either, because, to be quite honest, no, Nick Somas just can't do it.
Justin, your thoughts?
Well, you cut off God, so I don't want to respond until.
It's fine. It's fine. I was paying some bills anyway. Go ahead.
All right, Justin,
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
That's definitely really interesting to look back on, because ever since what was the only thing that TJ? What was the last thing TJ won a singles match was? Against Anonymous.
Anonymous.
I think it was Anonymous. That thing that nobody remembers.
Sakara's
which sad to say I remember for some reason. But the thing is with TJ is now is the time he needs to get his head together. If he wants to show God right here. If he wants to show God that he's a force to be reckoned with. If he wants to show Rick why he shouldn't be never betrayed. If he wants to show Nick Somas why he's better than Nick Somas, he needs to get his head together. He needs to think straight. He needs to focus on what he needs to do. What he needs to do is win.
You see, the problem with all that is he's too focused on being better than. He's too focused on being better than Nick Somas. He's too focused on being better than Rick Rios, rather than being focused on being the best damn TJ Sakara this world has ever seen. DH and HD, Drew Hood can tell you from experience, when Drew Hood was trying to be better than the next guy next to him, he didn't get to where he wanted to go. The second he wanted to be DH and HD better than DH and HD was yesterday, he became the biggest talk this has seen south of New York. And the reason why is because he knows that if he's worried about his opponent one single bit, he knows his opponent has an advantage. It is one tough cookie to get an advantage over. I can tell you that from experience.
Yeah.
I'll bring you another fact. I'll bring up another fact about the FTC. You want to know something about the FTC? That everything kind of balances out. If you realize Cameron Jackson has never beaten Drew Hood. Drew Hood has never beaten Big Time Mike. However, Big Time Mike has never beaten Cameron Jackson. We didn't underplay each other. The best man just won, and it turns out all three of us just happened to be the best three men in backyard wrestling. TJ Sakara, let's see if you're the best man in Ultimate Redemption, because to be quite honest, you're lacking major. You can't talk. So, in your terms, let's see your actions do the talking for once in Ultimate Redemption, or are you just going to back down and have two other guys, black and white, come in there, carry a match with you, and us leave with both broken backs, but holding four fingers high with our arms raised, saying 16 because we got you, bitch.
All right. With that being said, let's take it to the next category. UW. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. You were saying something?
I'm gonna get sick and tired of that gong.
All right. Well, that's just the signal for the next category. Now.
That's the Asian Undertaker coming out.
Oh, the Undertaker. Oh, the Undertaker.
All right. Well,
that's not Mark. That's not Mark Calloway. Well, Mark Calloway. That's
not Mark.
That's Mark Yingtao. You know.
Shut it up. UWE Moment of the Year. Now, Cam, you've been well known for saying it's not about being the best wrestler nor the best entertainer, but making the best moments in the UWE possible. So now I must ask, how important is this award?
Listen, the reason why I am not worried about winning this award is because whoever wins, it means they made a lasting impact. And that's all that matters. The thing about it is, a moment is something, an entertainer is somebody you're going to remember. A match is something you're going to say that was cool. But a moment is something you're never, ever, ever going to forget and go at least a week without bringing up to somebody. Every time I get on with Rick Rios next to me, they're going to be like, so how'd that trash can shot feel? And that was the first big moment in UWE history. And from there on, I learned that it's not about the match. It's not about the entertainer. It's not about the talking skills. Well, that all helps, don't get me wrong. But it's mainly about the moments you create. How many people, and there's two people that come to me, CJE, that has nothing to do with this guy, by the way, come to me about Daisy's hand being on the rope, on the bar. How many people come to me about the point in time when Fat Jack launched himself off of the damn trampoline on the poor little God's guts? It's moments. It's not. Yes, your matches can be good. They can be great. Yes, your talking can be good. It can be great. But the one thing people are going to remember, the first thing that flashes into their mind is going to be the biggest impact you had. And the biggest impact you had is the biggest moment you create. That moment can be on the mic. It can be in the middle of a match. It can be backstage. Thing that is synonymous with your name and what we do.
I couldn't agree more. I think I honestly couldn't have not. I don't think I could have said it better myself. The nominees for UWE Moment of the Year, there is an other. Revan Destroys Anonymous. That is one of the other categories.
Wow,
now,
someone actually remembered Anonymous besides me. I'm shocked.
Now, the actual nominees are Fat Jack winning the UWE World Heavyweight title, only to have it taken from him by Black and White.
Historical correction. That was the CJE World Championship. Thank you. It was not the UWE World title at the time. It was the CJE Championship of the World.
Thank you, Drew Hood. That means a lot. And the only reason why that was possible for REF to restart the match is because at the time he was still a senior official with the UWE.
Yep, that is correct. Now,
I didn't find out till after commentary.
Now, the next category, the next nominee, Novin arrives in the UWE delivering a last rites tombstone to Lips.
Exactly. Now I got to say something on that. You know, who would have thought two companies so close together would have taken so long to come to an agreement? Not an agreement, but come to a standoff. Could not be possible without the brother man with the master plan. But I will say, in its own right, Novin coming one on one, man, that's when the world stops. And yes, for all you smarks out there, I'm gonna compare it to this. Just imagine sitting down one day watching nowadays SmackDown Live. Undertaker's cutting one hell of a promo, and them crows start hitting. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you don't want to see the match. You're gonna pop for it because it's the moment when Sting and it confronted the Undertaker. Okay, continue.
Yeah, that's one of the best ways to put it. Honestly, that was definitely one of the best ways to put it, with comparing that to two of the most iconic superstars, especially when you have two of the most intimidating foes in both Novin and Lips. Definitely a moment to remember. Also, REF weed wax Rick Rios to initiate him into Black and White.
Now, that is just wonderful. I mean, I know, and especially in Long Island territory, I don't know if many people from that area or know what's going on in that area lately with people being, their gang initiation being chopping people up and putting them in the woods.
Yeah,
But REF and CJE at the time, Black and White, a dastardly duo to say the least in UWE. We thought of one way and one man that can benefit a lot from just us. Because to be quite honest, without the strap, we need another investment. And we thought we had a conversation backstage with the one and only Rick Rios before Abomination. And me and Rick, our plan was to beat the hell out of each other. And I told him, I was like, if you show me that you're worth it, you're in. And he showed me he's worth it. Now he's in.
that was a moment. Absolutely. Dirty DeChico gets arrested as he is about to win the World's Heavyweight Championship.
That's not even a moment. That's not even a moment. That's just justice.
Yeah, right?
He wasn't about to. Who said he was about to win the world title? First off, you can't predict if I was going to kick out or not.
You can't assume.
Well,
That's true.
Most men would have stayed down, but that is a good point.
Yeah, most men would have stayed down, but this god would have powered out.
Daisy, Pink Eye's Lips to remain in UWE. This took place at Hell's Vacancy.
Yeah.
Old news.
That was,
I'm tired. I'm completely tired of having to haul that fucking purple jackass everywhere I go. He can't get his own ride. Okay, he can't get his own ride, so he comes up to me. Hey, buddy, want me to get in the backseat of your car? No. I don't want. I drop below a quarter tank of gas. Hey, man, you might want to fill up your motor car. What the fuck is a motor car?
That's a good impression.
Drive a goddamn Pontiac.
That's a good Daisy impression. Almost too good. Last but not least, Clunk defeats Adnan to become UWE Regional Champion at Broken Glory. Oh man, I was there when I was calling the action on that. That might have been still the biggest upset in the history of UWE.
Let me tell you something, okay? And I know as of late I haven't been showing a lot of shine to my family members here. But I will say that it doesn't go unnoticed when a family member of mine is making strides in his own personal wrestling career. Clunk is unorthodox. Clunk is the complete opposite of what I represent, but I will say that Clunk on that day was a man.
I couldn't agree more. So, with that being said, UWE Moment of the Year with a total of 24 votes. The winner of this award goes to Novin. Novin actually won with 21% of the vote and is the UWE. The UWE moment of the year is Novin arriving in the UWE at the Survivalist Coliseum, making a statement, taking down who he believes was the freakiest dog in the yard, and obviously has set up for what's going to transpire next week at Ultimate Redemption. Drew, what do you think?
I'll go ahead and give Novin's acceptance speech here. Cameron,
Oh, no.
thank you for introducing me to the UWE. Hallelujah.
No, I gotta say something, and this speaks from the heart. Yes, I am a UW loyalist, but I'm also a BEW loyalist, and nobody's gonna take that away from me. I don't care what is said. I have to say that for those guys, that is a big deal. Bringing in the best in the yard was just the start of something beautiful, and now we start to see it play out, and they do deserve it. Oven is one of those people, and I'm going to try to keep it in character lines here. Novin is one of those people that bends over backwards and gets so much. He's trying to get his show edited. He's got to reach out to several different parties, and it's always a stressful time. And the fact that he can rejoice and get to celebrate something for once is definitely a good win for him. So Novin,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's they definitely get a bad rep with the editing process because their product is just far none. It really is an extraordinary program, being at the BW events as well, and then seeing Novin appear at the Survivalist Coliseum. It was just, I remember being in the booth, calling that, and I was wondering who was going to be the next entry after Templar. And Novin comes out, and the ring is just cleared, and the only one standing in his way is Lips. And just seeing those two stare down, you just knew that something was going to happen. And, it was pretty amazing seeing that moment, and just the tombstone and the creepy graphics with it. Just those that feature to Novin is just out of control. Like it's and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it transpire this next Wednesday night. Justin, what do you feel about not only that moment at All Out Survival, but what's going to transpire this next Wednesday between Novin?
So I feel first of all, Novin well deserves his reward because it's for a long time of both Novin and the other half, Navon McDonald, busting their ass and now just getting recognized. I was unfamiliar with Novin and Navon and everybody in BEW until they showed up at Best in the Yard. Until they were, both him and Jordan Oliver were at Best in the Yard, and that's when I started looking back and I realized I was an idiot for not even watching it in the first place. But now what's going to be taking place this upcoming Wednesday is I feel that Lucius finally met his match. I feel like Lucius has finally met the man who can out-creep him. When, Lips had to resort to these tactics as taking, Novin's little girl Tabitha. That's showing that now Lips has to go to the bottom of the barrel just to give himself a one-up over Novin. And I feel just as he gave it back Tabitha, I felt like he gave Novin the motivation of the world to beat him.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is that when Lips took Tabitha, it worked. It got to Novin's head, but Novin, honestly, I feel is the one guy that is going to take it to Lips as intimidating, if not even more intimidating. And I feel whoever is going to stand out as far as the methodical pace and whoever's going to dominate this match mentally is going to be the person that wins the match. And if there is anybody, but you can't count out the Freak Show, who's kind of been the most intimidating, the one guy that nobody wants to step in the ring with ever since the UWE first started. But Novin really seems like the one person that is ready to step it up.
If I can say something really quick, you brought up TJ Sakara's record earlier today of, his 2015, 2016 year.
Yes.
Let me bring up Lips's Ultimate Redemption record, 0-2.
0-2. Lips has been 0-2 at Ultimate Redemption, and not only that, but Lips has not won a single match in a UW Live Spectacular this entire year. So that really goes to show that, his only 2 matches to take – well, actually, that's not true. I actually messed up there. He was victorious at WrestleCon against Joe Cool. However, other than that, he was defeated by Daisy at Hell's Vacancy, and then he was defeated in the coffin match at Best in the Yard. So in the big match situation, he has really faced bitter defeat, where Novin, on the other hand, at Halloween Hell 2, was victorious in a casket match against Darkseid. So honestly...
Time out.
Yes.
Time out. Halloween Hell 2?
Halloween Hell 1, my bad. Halloween Hell 1. You're right. Halloween Hell 2 is still yet to come. My apologies. So, at Halloween Hell, we saw Novin go against Darkseid, and it was a casket match. And not only was Novin victorious, but delivering a tombstone into the casket, which just goes to show how devastating Novin can be. I think Lips has definitely got a run for his money. With that being said, the next category. So, I took out Asian Undertaker. Now,
thank God.
Thank you,
CJ. Thank you.
So, Rivalry of the Year.
Oh boy.
This really is a big one. And, Drew, we've seen you in quite a bit of rivalries throughout the past, we're in November, so the past 11 months. I mean, we've seen you in wars with Kevin Shaw.
11 months? What about 7-8 years?
Oh, absolutely. But that just goes to show what he's been through the past 11 months with this past year. I mean, going toe-to-toe with Dirty DeChico and Thomas Gray, going against not only, yourself, Cameron Jackson, Zach Daniels, Dustin Plague, or Dustin Reagan now. So it really just goes to show. Now, Drew, what is your intake on Rivalry of the Year?
Rivalry of the Year. As far as I'm concerned, minus FTC Yard 2, where Cameron and I went toe-to-toe, put on a show, put on a clinic, put on with the fans, not the boys in the back, because their opinions never matter in the end, but the fans called the best backyard wrestling match they've ever seen. After him and I put on the show of a lifetime and the FTC formed, I realized something. I realized that in every rivalry that I have, minus this one, yours truly always ends up being the talk after it's all said and done. Doesn't matter if I win or lose, even though I come out on the winning end a lot, because let's face it, it wouldn't be the DH and HD show without DH and HD. Now, as Dustin Reagan is learning, and he's learning very quickly, when you mess with a guy like me who hinges his career not on championships, because the moment you do that, you've lost. As a guy who doesn't hinge his rivalries on the same basic rinse, repeat. I have a family member, let me hate him. I have a title, let me hate him. As a guy who prides himself on being out of the box and unique in everything that he does, Cameron can attest to that. I know for a fact that a Dustin Reagan, who am I, he tried. He tried. Good job, kid. He tried at Halloween Hangover 6, but when it comes down to rivalries, he just sucks. He's a stupid sumbitch who got knocked out. He can try all he wants to kick out of 6 D-Lock brainbusters, but the moment he stepped foot in the ring with me, dead. When it comes down to rivalries, if you don't make it mean something, well, let me just go ahead and steal the Blackouts line here. You're only second best.
There you go. The category that really stand out. Oh, what's up, Kim?
And I've never gone on there to say this, but this is a better time than any. My personal favorite rivalry that I've ever been a part of was with Mr. DH&HD, and it resulted in my personal favorite match I've ever had with Mr. DH&HD. And you know, there's lots of peaks to a rivalry. A rivalry is something that should never have a smooth ending. It's always got to go like this. It's always got to climax up and up and up and up. And I know, Drew, you thought for the longest time I was neglecting the responsibility of adding into the rivalry. But had I not done that, we would have both been calm before our match. You know, there is a reason why I took so long to put out a promo, and I think this is as good as time as any to tell you. Piss you off. And it worked. And with that happening, with that being said, the moments we had before our match, nobody was back there but you and I. You could cut the tension with a knife. For that hour, Cameron Jackson and Drew Hood were not friends. We were not family. We fucking hated each other. And then when it all ended, I think we both realized that we made personal business. We built a rivalry that, first off, him and I could believe in, and most importantly, the people watching could believe in. And that's why that match that you saw, absolutely nothing was rehearsed. Nothing was talked about besides giving Drew Hood a nice, beautiful mohawk. That was the only thing in that match that was even talked about. The only thing. And it is, in my opinion, the best backyard wrestling mega crossover event of all time. And the reason why is because not only was Cameron Jackson and Drew Hood in it, it was the first time you saw Cameron Jackson and Drew Hood not on the same page ever. And the second that we get off that same page, man, it could be hell for both of us in that ring. But it's great business for both of us when we step out of it. And, you know, I could not love that man anymore. I've never received. And that was the respect, the respect and honor of treating me like a big threat on a big event. And I did the same for him. And at the end of it all, look where it got us. FTC with Big Time Mike. I could not thank Drew Hood anymore. The friendship, the brotherhood, and the love. But that rivalry alone, even before that, but that rivalry alone has cemented in the last lifetime. So, Drew Hood, personally, thank you. That's what a rivalry is about. A rivalry is about that way. And, you know, and we break it down to the UWE borders. It's the same thing. We're all bullshitting around, having fun before the shows, making jokes on each other. But when you're in there with that person, you and that person are the only two people that exist in this world. You have to make it seem like everything else does not matter. Because if you're really pissed off at somebody in real life, nothing else matters. You have to make it seem like you're fighting for. And the reason, the basis of the rivalry, and it always progresses. No matter what you do, it always progresses. So the UWE, I think, this year has missed a lot of chances on great rivalries, but I also think it is capitalizing on a lot of chances of great rivalries. And hopefully, with the voting process, we can find a winner that we could all agree was just the best deal of it all.
The nominees for UWE Rivalry of the Year are, we have one in the other category, Lips versus Novin. We have Black and White versus TJ Sakara. Everett Creed versus Kevin Shaw. Lips versus Daisy. And Jason Atlas versus Ustalo. Justin, what are your thoughts on the nominees?
Very tough to call. Honestly, Black and White versus TJ Sakara, that's been happening since Redemption. Whenever there's Cam, it looks like whenever TJ is about to go into where he's not going to worry about you and REF coincidentally just appear. Just say, hey, you remember Redemption? The little twist of the knife.
Absolutely.
Atlas versus Ustalo. I mean, that was one of the, you know, you call them the new breed. I'm just going to call them UWE. You know, UWE superstars now. Because honestly, after the year that both these men have, if there is definitely a runner-up, I'd say Atlas would be a runner-up for Rising Star of the Year. Because without Ustalo, there would be no Atlas. Without Atlas, there would be no Ustalo for this year. They built off of each other like crazy, even though they hated each other's guts. They teamed up for a little bit, and then it got better once that tension. Cam said the best way for a rivalry to grow is tension. Him and Drew had tension. There was no difference. You have to have that tension. In Ustalo and Atlas, I felt that tension of, oh, I'm the better new kid. It's just as much they're not new anymore. That's what it was at the time.
I will be damned if Atlas versus Ustalo doesn't headline a UWE Live Spectacular in 2017 for the World Championship.
Yeah, and I agree with Drew. Lips versus Daisy. I felt like this was the time that I thought I was going to say goodbye to Daisy. This was going to be the time I was going to say goodbye to Daisy. I felt the threat to looming of if Daisy lost, he would be going out of UWE, losing. As much as I was a huge Daisy fan, I didn't want him to lose. But at the same time, I didn't want Lips to lose either. But I felt the right thing happened, and there was a lot of bad blood. And there may be still bad blood that I don't even know about within those two men. Both of those two men are enigmas to me. They're both confusing individuals, especially now with whatever Daisy's doing. I don't know if there is something that happened where he got contracted with a little bit of lips through his foot, but something happened where he became a different Daisy. He became, almost the personification of that flower. He became bright and colorful, but still very deadly at the same time.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
I felt like this year was the best year Daisy, and I hope 2017 is the same way. I hope each and every year Daisy gets bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where he shows why he should be a legitimate threat. And I know as much as you hate that purple bastard at the moment, Cam, I feel like he's still got a lot of great things to do in this world.
Would that be?
And then, of course, Creed and Shaw. I mean, if there's someone that is very underrated within this backyard wrestling entity, of this whole world of backyard wrestling, I would say it would be Kevin Shaw. There's a reason why he's fighting Big Time Mike. There is a reason why he was fighting Devon McDonald. There is a reason why he fought Everett Creed. It's because Kevin Shaw, I feel, brings a bunch to the table. Like Thanksgiving for everybody. Like Thanksgiving, he brings a feast for those viewers. He brings you to your screens to watch, to make you, even if you're not American, he will make you put your hand over your heart and just worship America, even for those couple of minutes he's there.
Ace, with everything you just said, why don't you have your own show?
Yeah, seriously.
Quite honest.
Because
He's just one of the best storytellers out there.
Because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays.
Oh, man.
Adding on to somebody that's really been on the receiving end of a lot of FTC hatred. It's taboo to say things like this, but I am going to go out on a limb and really dig it home with Kevin. And I will say this, Kevin Shaw is one of the last remaining in backyard wrestling students of the game. And the possibilities are endless, but not when the FTC is around. So get that out of your heads right now.
The winner of UWE Rivalry of the Year goes to, with a total of 24 votes, the winning nominee has 42%. The UWE rivalry of the year is Daisy versus Lips. Now,
I say well deserved.
the thing is that with these two individuals is that it was 3 years in the making.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, when they really first appeared, and the first time that they were involved in the same match was the other than the Lockdown Lumberjack was the Survivalist Coliseum in 2014, and there was a lot of comments saying that we want to see Lips versus Daisy at Ultimate Redemption. Things transpired between Daisy and the Black Bullet and Lips and Insanity. The following year, it looked like even more people wanted to see Lips and Daisy, but they never crossed paths. And then with the Fearful Farewell Tour, it looked like Daisy was going to have his final match, and he has it with none other than the Freak Show Lips. And this is where we get to see two of the most iconic UWE characters of all time. I remember in the promo package, one of my personal favorites, TJ, said when Daisy confronted Lips, it was like seeing Kane confront The Undertaker for the first time inside that Hell in a Cell. And honestly, to me, it was just incredible seeing those two. And you just saw Daisy on a whole different perspective because he just let out so much frustration about being held behind and how everybody saw Lips as the most unique embodiment, and boy, did he prove them wrong. And then with Lips, it's like there's a reason why you're leaving, because this is my territory and you're not welcome here, and you will always be beneath me.
I'm gonna do what in our business is taboo. Take off the curtain. I'll pull back the curtain and take off these glasses. Everett, I'm gonna ask you to take off that hat for a second, and I'm gonna speak to you as a man, as I did to Drew. That whole thing started off of what I felt was complete true and how I felt at the time. Felt like the Daisy character was held back was because you wanted to push this a certain way. And there were times, and we can both admit, we're both men and grown up and past it, that you did not personally hold Daisy down, but you did give Lips more screen time because you had more faith in the character. And I felt like some of that screen time could have been shared, and some of those feuds, like there was feuds where Lips was headlining big feuds, and Daisy was left over. And I told you straight up, it's going to keep happening. I'm going to take the character away, and I took the character to a point where it was almost away, and you came to me at the last minute, and you felt the message that I've ever seen, the most faith I've ever seen somebody throw behind that character, and it brought me back into it. So I don't think I ever told you that, because if had it not been for that one message with all that love behind it, there would be no Fearful Phenom anymore. It would be hung up and it'd be done. And you literally told me, you said you want to make this right, and you said that you apologize and you don't regret it, which I don't expect you to regret it. I wouldn't regret it either if I were in your shoes. But I can respect the fact that you manned up, you took one for the team, and you made me keep the character around all of us left with a smile on our face. And for that, I couldn't be more grateful. Thank you.
I appreciate that. I mean, honestly, when we just decided now is the right time to execute this, I couldn't have asked for a better main event for Hell's Vacancy. Just when I was thinking, man, it's going to be so hard to top Lips versus Cameron Jackson after that storyline. That was honestly my favorite storyline in our earlier years, which is funny because it was only like 3 years ago. But then, the whole contract signing, which honestly to me was so different out of both of those guys. Like, we saw a different side out of Daisy. We saw a different side out of Lips. Lips wasn't provocative. He was proving that he was on top for the reasons that he was, and then Daisy just fired back with it, and the match itself was just far none. That's why it's nominated for Match of the Year. And honestly, the UW fan base, a majority of the UW fan base, agrees that Lips versus Daisy was the best program that we've thrown on in all of 2016. And I couldn't agree more, because it was earlier in the year, but it was one of, if not my favorite rivalries that I've done in the underground, all the way up to the big show. And then, so honestly, I got to thank you because, you know, that wouldn't have been possible if you chose to face anybody else. And you could have. You could have faced anybody else. You could have faced Insanity. You could have faced Rick Rios or, you know, whoever else was on the list, but you went against Lips. And that, to me, you know, means a lot because I have a lot of faith in that character. And I still have a lot of faith in Daisy. And honestly, we're going to see a lot out of him next week when he goes up against Insanity. And we're going to see a lot more of him in 2017. I remember being, you know, getting ready for AOS, you know, thinking, you know, I was going to go against the, you know, the same old Fearful Phenom, and I had everything ready, man. And this is kind of, I'm going on a shoot right now. You know, like I really had my mindset when I was, you know, about to do that promo, and I'm going out there, and I'm like, you know, I'm really gonna take it to this guy, you know, like he's gonna feel my words, and I'm gonna go right at him. I'm gonna give him everything I got, and I'm gonna have the momentum going into, you know, all out survival. And the next thing I know, he comes out and he does that 2-step with the wig and the hat. And the next thing I know, he's doing, you know, he starts rubbing on the plants, and, you know, he looks at me. My mind went blank. I forgot everything that I prepared myself for, and I was in a stutter. I was like, what the am I supposed to say now? You know, the only time I was just like, I'm like, God damn it. Like, you know, like I'm like, fuck you, Daisy. You know, like, I can't stand it. I'm like, I can't think of anything now. But
can I interrupt? In the words of one of my favorite wrestling legends, Roddy Piper, just when you think you have all the answers, Daisy changes the question.
That's exactly what happened. And, you know, I could not have said it better myself. And I was just like, well, Creed won the match, but Daisy went over. And,
I'm completely glad that I have a Daisy character. People don't know, for me, the Daisy character is a step outside of what I normally do. You know, don't get me wrong. I love being CJE. I love doing the CJE family and all the antics that come with it. But, you know, sometimes you get a little tired of doing the same old thing. And Daisy is my literal one chance to be something that CJE is not. You know, how I put it across is a different way of expressing myself. You know, doing it as first as being afraid of everything that was the first way. And because CJE was fearless and ready to talk shit, so I figured make Daisy fearful of everything, and that worked for the end. But you know, the one thing I do have to thank all the viewers on is that every time Daisy was on screen, he was the talk of the town, and for that I could not be more grateful. And then with this newest run, like I said, more screen time comes into play. The possibilities are endless, and you know, I threw him a whole different set. And yes, it might be something that you could see familiar with the CJE, but trust me, it is not. It is something that I can, for the first time in a long time, with. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and at the same time, I'm exploring a new realm of not just Daisy characteristics, but characteristics for Cameron Jackson, the man outside of wrestling. It's really enhanced my research on things and how things are done, wrestling, entertaining, dancing. I mean, a lot of things go into it, and you know, the only way it tops off well is with that accent. Otherwise, it would be just another CJE guy. But the fact that the accent's there, I think, saves us a little bit.
you know, abbreviations and initials really go far in this. You know, if you don't believe me, ask the CJE. You know, Pizza Hut, their initials is PH. So I'm going to go to PH and HD right now.
That was terrible. I make shitty puns and jokes on commentary, but that was terrible.
So let's Pizza Man, what do you think about Litz versus Daisy at Hell's Vacancy? I almost said Hell in a Cell.
Well, they had a great looking referee to officiate the matchup, and I also have to say that witnessing it live in the 30-degree weather, great, amazing stuff. It was quite fantastic. I enjoyed it a lot. And before I continue on this rivalry here, let me just ask one question. What won Rivalry of the Year? heating up my lunch.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
What? Sorry. What won rivalry of the year? What was it?
Litz versus Daisy.
All right. So that actually helps me out with this next thing. The promo package sold it. Because if you weren't watching the lockdowns beforehand, beautifully summed up the rivalry. When it came down to match time, well, let's just say that wrestling purists with their 5-star classics, catch, can, I want to see flippity-doo, nonsense wrestling, they would have hated it. But this match was like, oh, I'm gonna go. I might as well pay the royalties now. Like a Kane and Undertaker, it was a phenom. It was mythical. It was something that you would see in a movie, and you would pay $10 for at the door for the ticket, and then $1,000 for a large popcorn and a soda pop. It was something that you would just say, you know what? I'm going to suspend my disbelief for a moment and believe that this purple-skinned freak is facing this trans homo something sexual monster over here in the other corner, and I'm going to watch them rip each other apart. And it was fantastic. That's what made the match. It wasn't the fact that some guy was trying to jump as far as he could. No. Or try to jump as high as he could. No. Or how many rotations he was doing in the air. No. No one cares if you can go 630 degrees. Maybe if you had 630 degrees of a character, people would care. But the fact of the matter is, Lips and Daisy put on quality content.
Yes. I will never forget the day the Fearful Phenom stepped in there with the Frightful Freak Show and tore the fucking house down.
Absolutely. And
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go because
I would say, if this is what you know about wrestling, just throw that shit on the ground. Watch the match. Watch the promo. Because that is all you need. When you watch that and when you watch the classic, you will understand why. Even my fire alarm is saying how great it is, and it said fucking great.
Going on a shoot, the funny thing about with Lips,
I'm gonna go pick up my Return of the King copy now.
Going on a shoot, the Lips Daisy match. If we look at the time frame, that match went on at the same exact time and date as Ryback took on Kalisto at WrestleMania 32. I remember when the match was done, I think Kevin Owens was making out his entrance at WrestleMania. And Drew, you were there because you saw REF go wild when Undertaker came out saying, I hope he tombstones Shane's kids.
Let me put it this way, ladies and gents. Little known fact here. I was with the UWE locker room watching WrestleMania. Moment that I'm never going to forget, by the way. That right there was hospitality. It was beautiful. Now, REF, when he yells at you to sit down and enjoy The Undertaker's entrance, you sit down, shut up, and enjoy The Undertaker's entrance. Or yeah, you're not allowed back in the house.
Otherwise, if you don't believe us, ask Big Hands, because he never showed up after he couldn't shut up after SummerSlam. All right. Next up, now this is another big one, UWE Match of the Year. Now, the thing with Match of the Year, and this is where this gets a little misleading, and I think everybody here can agree. Match of the Year doesn't mean who could pull off the best moves, who could pull off the most rotations, if you will. It doesn't mean the best techniques.
Heavy roster things at the moment, but this man right here, Drew, he knows the light.
Yeah, maybe you should rotate. You know what? For all you wrestlers, rotate yourself out of existence. Do me a favor.
So,
I want to make that a shirt for you.
Match of the Year provides the moments that are going to last forever. The ultimate display of hero versus villain, and those matches that you go back and watch over and over and over again. With that said, the nominees for Match of the Year: Rick Rios versus TJ Sakara. All Out Survival. Rick Rios versus TJ Sakara. Daisy versus Lips at Hell's Vacancy. Jason Atlas versus Ustalo at Friday Night Lights. Cameron Jackson versus Fat Jack on UWE Lockdown, and Everett Creed versus Kevin Shaw at Untraveled Road. So
I'm gonna ask if there's any others.
there is no others. Let me repeat those one more time. Daisy versus Lips, Hell's Vacancy. Everett Creed versus Kevin Shaw, Untraveled Road. Jason Atlas versus Ustalo, Friday Night Lights. Cameron Jackson versus Fat Jack, UWE Lockdown. Rick Rios versus TJ Sakara, All Out Survival. Oh, wait, hold on. All right, so perhaps I think in the middle of this time with the voting process, when the show took on place, we did get an other vote. And it was, we got two, actually. We got Jason Atlas versus Dirty DeChico versus Ustalo at Hell's Vacancy. And we also have Cameron Jackson versus Rick Rios at Abomination. So
Can I just say something really quick? It's gonna be breaking the curtain, and I do apologize. But I was the big supporter of we should put Cameron Jackson versus Rick Rios, Abomination 2016 on the list. And first thing that says no, they can't win in the third time in the fucking row.
Who said that?
that would be me.
I'm out.
Like, I felt bad. I'm like, give someone else a chance.
Why we won it 2 years in a row. We could have won it a third.
Well, you did get another vote. But I mean, I just
On there, but I let it slide. But go ahead.
all
But
right.
both
Yeah,
of those
no,
matches,
I felt bad. I
both
wanted to
of
give
those
someone else.
matches, I was a big supporter of to have on the list this year, and it was like, no, that's too many. And so I was hoping for other votes. And whoever put those matches in there, props to you. I do appreciate it. Thank you. You just proved my point.
Yep. So, with that being said, with a total of 24 votes, with the winning percentage of 30%, the winner for UWE Match of the Year goes to Kevin Shaw versus Everett Creed.
Said Kevin Shaw, probably the last remaining student of the game in backyard wrestling. Well deserved.
Yeah,
That's the only thing nice that I'll say about the fucker.
Kevin, let me tell you something, Kevin. The amount, and whenever you're watching this, whether it's later, whether it's now, whether you're partying at ECU, I don't know what you're doing right now, but Kevin Shaw, listen up and listen good. Kevin Shaw started in backyard wrestling. Pretty much, if you want to talk about rookie, you're talking about Kevin Shaw, because this kid has not been wrestling for more than 3 years. In fact, I don't think he's even broken 2 yet. But the amount of progress that you've made, kid, the amount of momentum you've put behind yourself, despite the fact that you are not the management's typical poster child, the fact of the matter is, Kevin, you've made yourself into something without support. You've made yourself into something without everyone else looking at you and saying, Kevin, you've got it. You know what, Kevin? You're going to be a world champion someday. The running joke of VTW right now, Kevin, is that you are nowhere near ever going to be world heavyweight champion. But if you keep proving people wrong like this, Kevin, well, all I have to say is this. You're welcome for training you and bringing you to all these wrestling events, because Kevin Shaw would be nothing without the DH and HD show. Thank you for your time.
You know what? I couldn't agree more, Drew. And I have to say, this is where my loyalty does lie with the UWE on things like this. You take a guy that on any other show would just be a pastime, but you let him come express himself in the main event of one of our big shows because you know he is worth it. And Kevin Shaw, I threw the idea by Everett that when they were coming up, I said, listen, you and Kevin Shaw can really do a main event. And Everett didn't hesitate. He said yes. And they made it work. And to be quite honest, people can feel how they feel about it, that we gave Kevin an opportunity up here that he didn't get down there, and that was well deserved. It's just a shame he had to come 9 hours just to get it. But I will say, and I'm not, and by no means am I bagging on BTW at all, because I know some of them take a couple things and run with them. It's not one of those situations. It's just that is in the future. In the future, I just hope everybody can see the guiding light behind Kevin Shaw, because the FTC approves and we will dispose of Kevin Shaw. So you better take your chance now before we take him out.
You know, I'll say that, like, with the whole series at Untraveled Road, I'll say my favorite work in 2016 is Ever Creed. You know, especially with how Kevin Shaw, and I was saying this before we got on the air, Kevin Shaw just knows how to not only be the best hero he could possibly be, but he makes whoever he's working with the best villain that they could possibly be. And I'm so glad that this won Match of the Year, because it didn't involve one rotation, it didn't involve one flip. The match was actually at a very methodical pace, and it was a storytelling pace. And it was one of my proudest matches, and it's one that if I ever try out for WWE, I'm using this match to use as, I guess, my audition, because it is the ultimate storytelling experience for me. And it was, not to mention, out in pouring rain. And I love working with Kevin. He is a fantastic storyteller, and I do hope that someday he gets the opportunity to main event spectaculars in BTW. I really think that he is most certainly underappreciated, but we definitely took Kevin Shaw, and I loved working with him. I really did. I loved the story we told, and I couldn't have asked for a better rivalry, and I couldn't have asked for a better match. So,
with Kevin Shaw, the one thing that I'll hold on, this is what makes Kevin Shaw a good guy. For us, we know it as babyface, an ultimate one. And there's only two people that I can really take and say are very ultimate baby faces. And, well, there's going to be a third one soon, thanks to Mr. DH and HD building them up. But I can really be the guiding light in at the moment, where two people that myself and Big Time Mike wrestled at Halloween Hangover. And, that has to go to a very good credit to BTW in itself. But Kevin Shaw and Jamal Payne. Jamal Payne's an upstart, so of course he's going to look good and fancy. But Kevin Shaw's been grinding at it for 3 years, maybe not even 2, as you were said. And that Kevin Shaw that makes me sitting back as Cameron Jackson, that lives here in good old New Jersey, watching a BTW program, is that in a time where we're killing our own country, Kevin Shaw makes me proud to be an American. And that's the ultimate thing that you can pass across about Kevin Shaw. There's not anybody more polarizing. Doesn't even have to say a word in a promo. And when he's out there with his hand on his heart and the national anthem is playing, I'm not kneeling. I'm standing up in front of my TV looking like a jackass, but I'm standing up.
well
and
said.
that's what it is. Kevin Shaw, keep doing what you're doing. You're getting better and better and better. Keep taking those ass whoopings from the FTC. And maybe one day one of those ass whoopings might just be the one that makes you famous.
Absolutely. Now, the interesting thing about this is that it was actually a very slim lead that Ever Creed and Kevin Shaw had, because only one vote off, Lips versus Daisy would have tied for a match of the year, and 2 votes off for Jason Atlas and Ustalo. So,
I have to say, we spent a little bit talking about the Lips and Daisy thing, so I'm not going to go too far into it.
okay.
I would say that was definitely, with the rivalry enhanced into it. I'm going to say that was pure blown, just UWE-based talents, the best UWE-based products. I'm going to say that was, as far as just our guys go, taking it. But it warms my heart to see that Kevin Shaw and Everett Creed took it. It really does. And I have no saltiness, and I know we've been picking at BTW lately, but at the same time, I can't be more proud to have shared that experience and shared this award with a brother company and a brother in general, and Kevin Shaw. And let's just make good memories in the future. So Claremont
So,
Wrestling.
quite well said.
But Atlas and Uso too. You can't go without saying for two guys that really at that time getting the first shot at an opportunity, and that was one of those instances where Uso was told, "No, you're not winning here," and that was because Cameron Jackson, never Creed were Uso guys, but the rest of the roster necessarily weren't. He went with the gut decision of the rest of the roster. I'm not going to name any names, and Atlas took the W there. In my opinion, I personally thought Uso should have won the match, but let's take him back from opinion based and looking at the program itself. For two guys just being told, and that was one of the instances where I actually got to book something. But for two guys just being told, "Here's the ball, run with it," they did a great damn job. And especially not knowing a headlock from a program, from a goddamn promo, from the shed and actually making an impact, from not knowing pretty much anything. Those guys went out there and made magic for the first time in their respective backyard wrestling careers, and I can't do anything but respect them for it. Jason Atlas, I don't see a lot about this guy. I usually crap talk him, but coming from somebody who will start not taking back, but putting his foot down and being more verbal in the booking team, myself, I will sit here and say that I'll be damned if Jason Atlas doesn't get more airtime. I can't guarantee him wins, can't guarantee him titles, but I can guarantee him airtime. Same for Uso. And they keep bringing that intensity that they showed on that very night because they thought, and I told them before the match, listen, guys, me and Dirty are going on last, but you need to show us why Atlas and Uso is the main event. And I'll be damned if they didn't steal the show. That, in my eyes, and I can be a respectful, humble son of a bitch and sit here and say, and Uso was a better match than Cameron Jackson and Dirty Chico 7 days a week on that card. The reason why is because they wanted it just a little bit more than we did. We all wanted it. They needed it, and they took it. And I can't give them anything but respect for that. So hats off to you guys. And I can't wait to see what Ultimate Redemption holds. You guys got a big opportunity, a big deck stacked against you, because let's not forget, only been 4 people named, but who knows? Backyard wrestling is a vast community. And you might not only have to worry about Revan and Bullet, you might have to worry about other freaks, creatures, superstars, wrestlers, dominators. You'll never know.
You never quite know.
With your head on tight,
And now,
game plan ready.
Now, especially to become the first ever underground champion.
Overrated.
So I knew Drew was going to react.
Wait, is it called the Underground Champion?
The underground, yes, the underground championship. So our next and final category, UWE Superstar of the Year. Cam, you won this award 2 years ago. Dirty DeChico won it last year. How important is this award?
The funny thing I'm going to say, it's not important at all. And the reason why it's important at all, it's because it's not the award that makes you the Superstar of the Year. It's everything you do outside of being named Superstar of the Year. You don't have to be named Superstar of the Year to backpack the locker room. You don't have to be named Superstar of the Year to be the most over. You don't have to be named Superstar of the Year to be the one that people tune in to see. You don't have to be named Superstar of the Year to put on a great match or a great program. The thing that Superstar of the Year does is it solidifies you as the one people want to see next year. And respectfully so, I was that guy the first time around, the second time around, and we'll see what happens this time. At Dirty DeChico, they wanted to see him overcome and see more of him this year, and I believe rightfully so, they did get that. I have my pickings with the UWE booking, but I can't argue with the fact that they did give more Dirty to Chico. And when I won it, they gave more Cameron Jackson. That's what it means. It means, you know, you're going to give your viewers more of this guy that you saw. Now, it doesn't matter your statistics, your wins or losses. It's literally the guy that put in the work this year that people want to see more of next year. Not to negate the fact that it is a prestigious award, because it is. It is UWE's audience naming you the guy. That is what it is. But at the same time, it's also how much of the guy are you when the camera turns off? How much of the guy are you when it comes to pulling over Ustalo, talking to him about doing his promo? You know, and both Cameron Jackson and Dirty Chico have done that. You know, it's a myriad of things. It's a lot of things that go into being superstar of the year. Personally, did I vote on this category? No. Is because I felt like this is one thing that should not be voted on by any backyard wrestlers. It should be voted on by strictly the viewing audience, because those are the people that tune in every week. People like Tony Tiger, people like Buster Boy, people like Maria Excellence that tune in every single week and have an opinion and want to see something that benefits them. This award is for them to name their guy. And no matter who wins, there's no salty feelings. That is the guy that you will see more of next year, and the UWE can promise you that.
Indeed. With that being said, we do have another Jason Atlas. Now, the nominees for the remaining nominees for Superstar of the Year: Everett Creed, Daisy, Rick Rios, TJ Sakara, Cameron Jackson, and Templar. So, just going to get now, actually, let's with that being said, Justin, who do you think should be the UWE 2016 Superstar of the Year?
So it should be no surprise that I voted how you were telling me last night to vote. So the person I voted for I felt was the one who brought the most to the table this year. Not even just in UWE, but outside in the other ventures such as, you know, EPW or BTW. Someone who's brought it out and was really, in my mind, the person who represented the UWE. That person being Everett Creed. Now, as much as everybody hates the character of Everett Creed, 2016 brought something different to Everett Creed, and that was him having power that, you know, he may have not even imagined. With someone with an authority figure in that right back pocket, hell, even with a hand in hand and with a title, he brought the UWE, you know, the UWE's way of thought. It spread like a plague, like a virus even, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, throughout, you know, backyard wrestling this year. I mean, look at Best in the Yard. I mean, if it wasn't for Everett Creed, who knows how a Corey Graves versus Aaron Jones match would have gone, which, no disrespect to both of those men, I felt like Everett Creed brought the most to that match. Everett Creed versus Shavardakis Jackson at WrestleCon. It wasn't Shavardakis Jackson that brought it to the table, that brought it into Altoona. It was Everett Creed.
I don't know why you're
See, it's just,
I hate the guy.
You know,
you kind of get what I'm saying, but I'm stupid when I talk.
I can agree to an extent on a few things. I think like this, you know, I could have been the mark that voted for myself, but I wasn't. The thing here,
But I wasn't.
but the thing here is, you know, I thought about it the same way. A person has brought impact to the UWE and outside of the UWE. You know, and the person that ran across my mind immediately was Cameron Jackson. There's no other backyard wrestling superstar that's done what Cameron Jackson has done in this year. Exposing spotlight on other federations. making connections possible, seeing new people on this general ECT programming that people try to push down their throats, which really shouldn't be the ECT, but that's a different argument. And it's not a knock on Jason Walker. It's just, it is what it is. Little did people know, Cameron Jackson's the reason why you saw Cage and AK-47 at WrestleCon. Cameron Jackson's the reason why you saw Lips and Novin. It's a lot of things behind the scenes that a person does, making connections, making ties. And it's not about main eventing best in the art too, even though that would have helped for a person like me. It's just the fact that I think this year I busted my ass to a point, not only in the UWE, up and down this coastline, to cement the fact that it's not about just 1, 2, or 3 feds. It's the whole community here in backyard wrestling can breathe and live on. That would be a great argument for backyard wrestling superstar of the year. When I talk about UWE superstar of the year, I have to think about somebody within the UWE that has been loyal to the UWE and that has done a lot to not only enhance their personal character, but more so enhance the UWE vision and overall appearance and look and feel and product. And it also has to be somebody that's been in the UWE full time. So I automatically, with most respect to myself, ruled Daisy out. You know, and it's just fair and square. And with all due respect to myself again, I ruled Cameron Jackson out. Reason being is because it's not that I wasn't there. I was there for most of it. It was the fact that I feel like there were more people within the UWE that stuck to strictly UWE this year that could benefit more from being named Superstar of the Year. Then I thought about Everett Creed. The only problem with Everett Creed being Templar of the Year, yes, I said Templar of the Year, is because he won it last year. Don't get me wrong. It is the fact that it's a given. That's one of those given things. Everett Creed takes his time to edit all the shows. He takes his time to having people over, which is a hell of a lot. It is. It is a hell of a lot. But at the same time, when the show, and for a little while, Everett, you know, you can't argue with me, the show ended up being Everett Creed's vision for a little while. And not saying it's your fault. You know, a lot of people were going that direction without making a stand, and it dropped the ratings. Not because it's you, it's because nobody stood up and said anything. Not saying it didn't help the UWE, because a lot of people found their niche in that little era too. But to that, not only being champion on screen, that's just too much to throw in 1 year. That's the kick-ass year, but that also makes you a shoe-in for backyard wrestler of the year. So I had to cross out Everett Creed. And then I thought about Templar, man, that won it yesteryear, that is very into the UWE and learning the business day by day, behind the scenes, and helping out with things here, throwing creative opportunities around, and pulling over people aside. And like, he'd be a great person for Superstar of the Year. But my biggest memory of Templar this year is Dirty to Chico at Best in the Art 3, which made me cross his name off the list. And I had to think of one person that people have been hot on since the beginning of this year. So I didn't vote for anybody on that list. I'm the other. I voted for Jason Atlas. 16.
Oh, wow. There you go. So with that being said, Drew Hood, what are your thoughts?
Cameron Jackson. Thank you.
Can I just say something really quick before we start?
Yes.
Cam, don't discredit yourself, because this year you made yourself not UWE, not BTW, not BEW. You made yourself just a backyard wrestling entity. You ascended into big time Mike status this year alone. And Drew, I can tell you next year you will be that same, where FTC will have its own categories in every single award. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you too. I love you both. You're my brothers. But you guys are heading down a path of immortality. And I could not be any more prouder of you.
You know, you mentioned how Cameron Jackson ascended, you know, and is no longer UWE or UWE level or VTW level. Well, I'll one up that, and I'll say he's the only person in backyard wrestling who can get away with the nickname God. You know, and I can't say that because of everything that Cameron Jackson has done and how the people look to Cameron Jackson for guidance, just like they would for God. So if Cameron Jackson wins this award, it's justified. I feel that it's justified each and either way. You know.
And there's another person that should be justified for, and that'd be Rick Rios.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'll be honest, and I go ahead, Kim. I cannot interrupt.
I didn't talk over Rick Rios. This is why it was a tough vote. I wanted to vote for Rick Rios so bad, but I also had to think. Rick Rios' biggest claim to fame this year was TOP. And that would have made me had to bring in TJ Sakara, and you cannot share that award. You cannot share Superstar of the Year. There is no parentheses S. So had it been two people, I would have personally said TOP. But as far as statistics and dominance, and the first time they were able to break out on their own, that was the first time since we've started the UWE that TJ and Rick had something on their own, did not need any help, any overhead say or nothing like that, and went out and kicked ass with it every week. And I couldn't have been prouder of them. But that's also the collective duo of Rick Rios and TJ Sakara. They both favored each other, no matter who I feel was carrying what. When that camera turned on, they were both chemists in their own science of what they do. And if that would have been a two-man award, they would have had my vote, and there's no arguing that they would have won it, like they won Duo of the Year.
I will definitely. There was a comment here by Buster Boy 46. Rick Rios' match that cemented his legacy this year was against Big Time Mike at WrestleCon. I definitely got to agree with that because I feel that was the one match that, you know, in 2016, you know, if you go against Big Time Mike, it's like, okay, you know, that's especially on a crossover event like that. I think Rick definitely did, you know.
Yeah. And Rick did an amazing job, had an amazing performance. And the end of that match is something I'll never forget. Once again, moments. But at the same time, I'll never forget TJ hauling ass in that match. Never forget TJ swinging a chair at Big Time Mike. Never forget TJ helping out Rick, tying him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. That goes with you. So I think it's time to find out, guys. I think it's time to figure out who it is. So with that being said, with a total of 32 votes, 41% has gone to the winning nominee. The UWE Superstar of 2016 is Templar. So I think this is more so, and I think if you guys will agree, I think this is more so 2016, whether it be Templar, whether it be Dirty DeChico.
Here's the thing, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. And I'm not salty. I completely am proud and happy for Templar. Here's the thing now with the Templar persona. We all know, and I think we can all be men and straight up say that the Templar persona, if anybody had a chance to trade in Templar or Dirty, what would they trade in for? Dirty. But I think it's the fact that the man underneath that mask, Antonio DeChico, has gained so much of our viewers' trust that they respect the character rather than like it or love it. I think they have more of a respect for Templar and respect for Antonio, no matter what he's doing, which is what makes him Superstar of the Year. And that, with that being said alone, I can personally agree with that. And, you know, if we're going off of that alone, let's say that's well deserved. That man has earned his respect this year, has done a lot of things to enhance other people, has done a lot of things to help try to enhance the UWE. Stepped up this year and tried his hand at booking some of the shows. Not everything was a hit, but not everything was a miss either. And I think he showed, as far as any other person on the roster, the most growing, the most character development, and two, as far as behind the scenes and learning as a performer, he has grown the most. Now, and with that said, he has a big, huge main event coming up at Ultimate Redemption against Everett Creed for his chance, after so many failed attempts to capture the World Heavyweight Championship. And, a lot of people are going to wish him luck. A lot of people are going to want to, see another persona in that spot. And it is what it is. I think we're just all respecting the fact that it's Antonio playing that character, Antonio, the man underneath the mask, the man that has worked and scratched and clawed, and hopefully he can just climb one more rung and grab that brass ring. I think that's what it's about at this point. But personally, I personally think that opportunity, that match card, is a disgrace to UWE. And the reason why I say it is not because of Everett Creed, of Templar, the persona that moved in and capitalized on Dirty DeChico's hard work. I think Dirty DeChico belongs in that spot. But I will respect it because it is Antonio in that spot.
Couldn't have said it better. Now I will go on to I think we're losing a little bit of time. I think I'm going to get your guys' predictions once we get off the air. But all I can ask now is we'll start with Justin. What are your hopes and expectations for next Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time for Ultimate Redemption?
My hopes and expectations are one and the same. It's going to show why UWE is one of the best leagues. Why it's not just one of the best backyard wrestling leagues, but one of just the best wrestling leagues in general. Why it's a show of shows. Why this year it's ascended to Mount Olympus. It's to show you that, hey, look at everything that we have offered to the table. There's a reason why we shouldn't be overlooked. There's a reason why you should watch us. And that's what Ultimate Redemption is. It's that feeling. It's like catching lightning in a bottle. That's what every Ultimate Redemption is. Every year, we just get a new bottle.
Drew Hood, what are your thoughts? What are your hopes and expectations for Ultimate Redemption next Wednesday night on November 23rd?
It's a day that's either going to live in infamy or UWE will prove itself once again. Ultimate Redemption is your turnaround show, essentially. It's the show that everybody says, you know what, UWE outdid themselves again. They outdid most of backyard wrestling. This is great. The setup, the music, the atmosphere, the crowd, the matches, the moments, everything about it screams Ultimate Redemption. It screams biggest show of the year. Now, if y'all are hoarding Diablo and you didn't tell us, I'm going to be pissed. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes down to Ultimate Redemption, every match means something. Every match, well, I have a feeling that there's going to be some people that are going to put so much into it that they're going to feel pain that they never felt before because they have never really actually tried their hardest 110%. And when it comes down to Ultimate Redemption and the bell rings for whatever match it may be, whether it be Daisy and Insanity, please Daisy win, whether it be anything around this Black and White versus Somas versus Sakara, whether it be the Underground overrated Championship Invitational, whether it be any of these matches down to the main event, a main event that everybody had been begging for at least 2 years now, a main event that everybody was saying, we want this match, and it's happening, isn't it? It's damn right, it's happening. when it comes down to it, Ultimate Redemption will be Ultimate Redemption. It will be UR 2016. It will be the show that puts UWE on a higher pedestal than most, where companies like the DH and HD show featuring VTW and Friends and well, you know, all the rest in BEW, and I'm sure there's guys in Rhode Island. I'm sure there's guys all over the place that are going to look at this show and say, wow, follow that.
You know, I couldn't have said it better myself, Drew Hood. Let me tell you what Ultimate Redemption means to me. Being here I'm saying WWE since the first rendition of Ultimate Redemption before YouTube, it holds a special place in my heart because it is the one show a year where there's not too many complaints. There's no watch the next. There's no get this shit cleaned up as we're filming. There's no tension. There's no everybody's yes. Well, there is tension, but that's just a sacred art of performing. It's the show where everybody's invested, everybody's around, and everybody's on their A game. It is the show where no longer is Ever Creed just UW World Heavyweight Champion. It's the show where no longer is CJE the brother man with the master plan. It is a show where everybody in the UWE, respectively, is a god. It is a show where we change up the yard just a little bit and it makes a big impact. It is a show where some people might pull things out of their bodies, their hearts, their minds, and their spirits that you'll never see anywhere else. And hell, they might never even do it again. But for that one night, it meant something, and they needed to pull down and do it because it was the only way of expressing how proud they were to be in that moment on that show on that day. And Ultimate Redemption, it's not a feeling, it's not a show, it's not even an event. It is a spirit, and the spirit of Ultimate Redemption is something that makes you feel, look, and fight like it is your last day on this earth. And you cannot help but play it up to the point where it's to be quite honest, you know, I go to lengths and say if WrestleMania wasn't on Sunday for 4 hours at a clip, then I'm pretty sure this would have the pay-per-view deal. It's one of those shows. It's one of those things. So like the way I put it is that right there, that match card is not the main event. It's not even the last match.
No, it's not.
The fight you came to see. It's the brawl to end them all. It is Templar versus Ever Creed for the UWE Heavyweight Championship of the world. When it comes down to something like this, it's not. It's no disrespect to anybody watching. It's not BEW. It's not VTW. It ain't APW. It's not even Backyard Wrestling. It's Ultimate Redemption.
With that being said, everybody watching this right now, thank you so much for being a part of the UWE Awards. And make sure to put it on your calendar. Make sure that at this day, on Wednesday, next week, at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific, November 23rd, 2016, will be the night that you remember Redemption on its ultimate stage. Make sure to tune in here on the UWE account for what could be not just the greatest UWE event, but the grandest spectacle in all of backyard wrestling. It is the prestige of the elite. It is the night where we become gods. As Cameron Jackson has said, we will see not only one historic main event, but we will see numerous, including even the Winnipeg Warrior versus Clunk. We will be seeing a match that will define the future of the underground, with a UWE Underground Invitational Ladder match featuring the likes of Revan, the Black Bullet, Jason Atlas, and Ustalo. We will be seeing the Fearful Phenom Daisy versus the Maniac Insanity. We will be seeing the Freak Show Lips versus the Last Emotion Novin. We will see the Iceman, Nick Somas, the Third Eye Theorist, TJ Sakara, the Hybrid, Rick Rios, and God himself, Cameron Jackson. And in Black and White's corner, REF. And last but not least, for the UWE World's Heavyweight title, we will see the Embodiment of Vengeance, Templar, versus the Self-Supremacy, Everett Creed. 9 o'clock Eastern Time, November 23rd. Make sure to tune in for Ultimate Redemption. And with that being said, I want to say thank you to J Joker Designs, Drew Hood, Cameron Jackson, and Big Time Mike as well. And we will see all of you guys at Ultimate Redemption.
60.